Morning routines are never complete without the perfect outfit to start the day. On today's special episode of Homeworthy, we've rounded up 8 amazing closets handpicked by our editors. From custom cabinetry and lighting to overflowing shoe collections and super fun handbags, these tastemakers have created their own Carrie Bradshaw moment in their utterly dazzling dressing rooms. Enjoy! You're watching Homeworthy, where we believe every home has a story. Like and subscribe for more.
So this is a Fornasetti cabinet. I just fell in love with it. It's like a panoramic scene of Rome, but and then my grandmother sits on top. But of course, you know, I do love to throw dinner parties. I don't cook, but I can plate. Like I can really plate, and I can present. So this is actually all like servingware. It's so not that presentable, but it's all stuff for the dining table. And then my whole dresser is also full of like linens and placemats and all those sorts of things that you need when you're entertaining.
So where are your actual clothes?
Let's go this way. So this is the dressing room. I may have a problem. I also have a cologne problem, as you pointed out. So I really wanted a place to get dressed in the morning. I was able to take this little bit of space away from another room and carve this out and just make a great place to not have my clothes just shoved in. So it's all right here, tip of my fingertips. And one of the things I love the best is my LG styler. It's like the least glamorous thing, except it's a steam locker, so I can put my clothes in the day before. When I wake up, they're fresh and steamed, and I don't have to deal with that. I think one of my favorite pieces right now is this Saint Laurent jacket. I was actually photographed in this for the Architectural Digest article. I love that. And I've really been digging this really fun hoodie that I've been wearing a lot. Well, now it's getting warm, thank God, but I love that.
I'm a collector, as most people who are not minimalist happen to be, and one of the things I love to collect are vintage costume jewelry, mostly from the 60s. So I have a lot of my lovely kind of cocktail rings and earrings, all of which are clips here. And, you know, my various collections of scarves and hats and coffee table books and headbands and, you know, poodle references. And then I have some, you know, vintage luggage that I actually do travel with. I don't know if people think those are props, but I went to Paris in February and that's what I took on the plane, and all the flight attendants were like, "Oh, who designed that retro luggage?" And I'm like, "Oh no, it's just actually old." So it's not vintage inspired, it's just old 1960s luggage. But anyway, yeah. I think from a design perspective, there's not a single person that I look to as far as pulling design inspiration, because it really is just the stories of my life. I am, of course, fascinated by the 1960s, especially the idea of something looking so polished and perfect on the outside, but really that not telling the full picture. And I think that, you know, in 2022 and, you know, what you see on the internet isn't the whole story. Like, people are presenting such beautiful aspects of their lives and even something like this, but there's always going to be a closet full of stuff you didn't want on camera. And I think, you know, that's true of the 1960s. That's true of today. So no, there's not a single person, or definitely not from a design perspective. There's people I look up to, like Nora Ephron is a hero of mine, as someone who's a writer, and she made beloved like rom-coms, like You've Got Mail, that kind of thing. But I really look to people like that. So it's not design necessarily. It's just women who inspire me in general. And I always say that I think of my house as my own rom-com set. And, you know, sometimes there's more com than rom. But yeah, I think of my house as my own little set, and you never know what could unfold. So I have a closet full of things I actually wear on a day-to-day basis. And then I have a pretty closet, and this is the pretty closet of all of my favorite shoes and party dresses. So I'm like queen of the impractical shoe at like at a practical height. So they're all like very impractical shoes, but at practical height, so I actually do wear them. My favorites are probably, I needle pointed these. So those are kind of great. They're Stubbs and Wooten, but I needle pointed them. Actually, I made this shoe and my mom made this shoe, and I sort of like that as I'm walking through life, I've got a little piece of her with me. So those are definitely up there. I can pick favorites with anything. That's like not a challenge for me. So these are probably my favorites right now. These little gold sequin Miu Mius with the pearl. But again, a sensible heel. My family lives on a ranch. I have actual boots that I wear on the ranch that are like made for traipsing through pastures. These are the Dallas boots, which are really for like charity events. So Yeehaws are by a Dallas brand called Mir and Crosby. They make beautiful, fun cowboy boots. These are, I've worn one time, and they were for a like rock and roll themed fundraiser. Highly impressed. Worn once, but you know what? Should the theme arise, I'm ready. And then these are probably my favorite little gold arrow boots they're by Lou Casey. They were inspired by a 1950s pair of cowboy boots. It's getting old me saying that, huh? Yeah, and all my party dresses, and I collect vintage handbags too. So those are all up there.
Welcome to the closet. This used to be my office, but since I needed a little bit more storage, we had to move the office to the garage and move my closet in here. I think a dressing room is one of the most important rooms in the house. I feel like that's where you get inspired to like what you're gonna look like for the day. And one of my favorite things is changing my shoes. Clearly I have a little bit of a problem with smoking slippers. I have a collection of smoking slippers and Sabas, which are some of the most comfortable shoes. And I love that that's kind of like the focal point whenever I need to get dressed. Some of my favorite things in this room are actually the lights. Those are Timothy Alton. I love the theme of like a top hat for like a closet. It actually kind of gives you good light, but also it's kind of like a fun conversation and little work of art sculpture looking. I love doing everything by color and kind of like changing it by season. So we did all the hanging and all the sweaters just on top. It's a very organized mess. I know where everything is, although it looks like there's a lot going on in here. So I'm clearly a collector and I love a little maximalist. So this is the collection of ties. I barely wear a tie. It's only if it's necessary. And there's a little moment where it's just like some of my most special, intimate pieces. That is a Birkin bag that my mom used to carry. She didn't like it and it was a little bit too heavy for her, so she gave it to me so I could frame it and keep it in my closet. This is actually one of my other favorite pieces. This actually came from the original Neiman Marcus downtown. And I feel like it's super special. It was in the dressing room in one of the biggest stores in the country, and I was able to get one of the pieces here. These are my favorite Stubbs. I feel like it kind of talks about like my everyday today. They're like paint splattered, which is exactly how I feel every single day after work. I feel like when I wear them, I feel like I'm already like ready to go for the day and get to the projects and get the paint going.
So this is basically an extension of my closet. It's a clothing rack from IKEA, which has been a lifesaver. I have my cute little suitcases above. The one on the left was actually my grandmother's, and the pink one is Steamline luggage. And here is my gown of my dreams. It was the best to date sample sale find I've ever found from Carolina Herrera. Of course, in true sample sale find fashion, it was for a model, which I am not. So I had to take it to my tailor to totally reconstruct it, but I think she did an amazing job, and now I can just frolic through Central Park in it. I may get a few funny looks, but it's worth it. So then across from my office is my entryway table. I always love having a place to set keys down and my purse down when I get home. And then of course we have more functional storage here that doubles as decoration. And these are little glass decoration boxes that you can open up and you can grab your jewelry. And then, oh, I love these hands. So where I put my keys is this fun little dish. I feel like it's just like, okay, welcome home. Let me take a load off for you.
Is that anything?
This is a purse.
What?
This is a purse. I love purses that don't look like purses. So this is a fun milk carton bag from Kate Spade. And it has like the full strap and everything to it.
Where would one wear this?
To brunch, obviously. The grocery store. They might try to scan it on the way out. Okay.
So this is arguably the most feminine room in the house. This is Mom's closet. So I really wanted a place where I had intentional storage for all of my things so that getting out the door in the morning is just that much easier. So we designed a closet for me that has space for all of my things, but really the island in the middle of the room is by far my favorite piece of cabinetry in our home. It was designed by me and it houses all of my jewelry, you know, seasonal items. So it just makes getting out the door in the mornings so much easier. So I'm no stranger to color and pattern. I love color and pattern, especially in my clothes. And you can see with all of my dresses, I love color, I love pattern, I love different styles of dresses. I'm probably more of a dress person than anything because it's just such an easy effort to selecting an outfit. And then, you know, now with all of my shoe display, I can just make that really easy when planning what I'm gonna wear. I love different colors and lengths of dresses. I've got a lot of, you know, pink and blue, but then I've got some really cool vintage pieces that I've had forever. So that's really one of my favorite go-tos is just kind of my dresses, whether it's spring, summer, winter, or fall. So here in my closet, I have several things that are just really sentimental to me. And one of them is this DIY shadow box that I did myself a couple of years ago. And it houses some of the brooches that were either my mom, my grandmother's, or my mother-in-law's. So the brooch on the top is something that I had attached to my bouquet on my wedding day. It belonged to one of my grandmothers. And then the piece at the bottom, I remember my other grandmother, she would wear to church on Sundays. And then the two cameos, one belonged to my maternal grandmother and then to my great-grandmother. So they're just things that were sweet and special to me that I thought could be turned more into art instead of just hiding in the drawer.
This whole area is really cool because it's another built-in shelf and there's a secret compartment in this bench. This is where I keep all of Pony's costumes. It's a little disorganized, but this is where I keep all of her hats and dresses and sunglasses, all of her collection of purses. She's got just as many clothes as I do. Look at all that. She's got collars, necklaces, sunglasses, and we keep all of her toys and her collection of catnip. You know what? Her and I have, people are so talented. I've had a lot of really talented people send us matching hats. So probably one of my favorite pieces of hers is something that I also have that matches. This hand bucket hat that was gifted to her. Isn't this so cute? And I have a matching one too. She's got this hand sewn beret with a little tie, and I also have a matching one. She's got little sun hats. That one's really cute. We also have, I've kind of done a lot of work to the closets because it's very tiny and I don't have a lot of room in there. So I put an extra shelf up there because I'm kind of a shoe addict. I got a disco ball up here because, again, I love disco balls. All my shoes, my purses, dresses, shirts, skirts, belts, and then I have Pony's water and food in here, which may seem odd, but me and Pony share this bedroom. We have a roommate, so we want our own privacy, so I leave all of her stuff in my bedroom. There's also a window in the closet, which I think is just so cool and unique. I got this piece. It's a two-piece set, There's embroidered unicorns and rainbows. I got this thrifted in Joshua Tree. This apparently was a rodeo queen's rodeo outfit. The pants are really, really long, and I can't bring myself to get them hemmed because there's just so much detail on the bottom that I'm like, how could I, if I hem this, it loses all the detail. So I probably will never actually wear it, but I just think it's so cool that this was a rodeo queen's rodeo outfit. But it is very long. Like, it sits here, it needs like a good 1.5 foot cut off for me to actually make it wearable. She either was really tall, or I think when you sit on the horse's back, like your legs are just a little bit longer with the boots. I don't know. Got these boots. I just really love them. They're embroidered, they're really unique. I paid $60 for them, which really isn't a steal, but how could you say no? If you see these, wouldn't you have bought them too? I have a lot of cowboy boots. I'm a country girl at heart, so I have a wide collection of country boots. These ones got rhinestones on them. I also have just a lot of cool handmade pieces that brands have sent me. This is from Zigzag Goods. They hand painted all these smileys. I also love collecting rodeo belts. I guess I just love horses way too much. I'm a horse girl grown up. More cool rodeo belts for you. I've got cow print pants, hot pink pants, space jumpsuit silver metallic pants, wackadoo abstract pants. Kind of overflowing with clothes a little bit here. That's why I sell a lot of vintage at my flea markets, but I love fashion. I love clothes.
So everybody sort of has a different approach to closets. For me personally, I like an open closet. I like to walk in. So I wake up in the morning, I close these 2 doors, I walk into my dressing room, and I go into my bathroom. I shower, get ready, and then I come out into my dressing room and dress and leave for the day. So here is my closet. It's a little jam-packed. You always have to edit to sort of keep the space working. You know, I'm a big blue blazer man, so these are my blazers that I wear during the day, you know, pants, shirts, sweaters, drawers of socks and underwear. This is pretty much, over here is evening clothes. I love shoes, so I have tons of shoes. These are these wonderful lob shoes that I have made for myself with rubber soles. You know, loafers are here. Whole little section over here of Belgian loafers that I wear back and forth to the country and sort of use as slippers and wear around. Sportswear. Hats are up there. Over here is shirts and sweaters. And then on the 2 sides, more space for shoes, because that's, you know, my favorite. And then I go into my bathroom. Again, covered with artwork. So my bathroom, the walls are covered with artwork because when I moved from my other apartment, and you know, we really couldn't, there just wasn't that much wall space by the time you've used all the bookcases and all the things. And I'd collected all these wonderful drawings and paintings and photographs. So I covered my bathroom walls with art. So again, it's a wonderful sort of memory place for me as I'm getting ready in the morning. I have all the memories of my life and the pieces that I bought from different trips and different places. Okay, so I've told you about my dressing room, and now we're going to go into Scott's dressing room. So Scott's dressing room is a real room.
My dressing room.
Scott's dressing room is a real room. And
so I was on a business trip in Paris in the early 2000s, and I was not at the Ritz. I was staying at a hotel, and I loved it though because it had a 4-poster bed and it was all the same fabric. So that's what I wanted to create here. I said, Alex can have a 4-poster bed. He says, no, the room will not permit that, but you can have a coronet. So
right. So that was sort of music to my ears that Scott,
right here,
when I showed him the scheme, the only comment he had was, well, I love it, it's beautiful, but can I have a 4-poster, can I have a canopy on my bed, were his exact words. And I said, I don't think you can have a canopy, but you can have a coronet. And so we created this divine coronet. And we call this the snoratorium. So we sort of do this for all our clients. It's really nice to have a second bedroom where if somebody can't sleep, has a cold, needs, sometimes you're just super tired. You need to sleep in your own room. So it's great. So we both use this. I sometimes sleep here. Scott sometimes sleeps here.
And I love the hidden doors because, as you can see, every corner has things in it. Like this is shoes. Over here, oh, you saw that? Over here is sweaters, belts, things like that, pocket squares, and then other things here.
And that's the main closet.
Ooh. And Cooper likes it in there too.
So that's Scott's main closet. But again, we're also really lucky because we have this amazing apartment across the hall. So Scott's closet gets changed in and out for seasons. So this is winter, and then it gets changed out for summer.
Don't close
Coopy,
that door.
come on out of there.
Here's another one like this. Oh, you can see it from this way. See? Like sportier things.
Well, it feels very French, and I think that's sort of Scott, when he went to Paris, he fell in love with this divine hotel room that was all in a beautiful toile. And
everything, the bed, everything.
Yeah, and so we love. Well, it's very French. It's the French that do it,
Yeah.
And it's super pretty. This is a beautiful Manuel Canova fabric from Countin and Tout.
Tree of Life, no.
Well, it has a tree of life element to it. Yes, absolutely. It's not a tree of life, but it has that kind of feeling. Birds and flowers, and it's super pretty.
All right, so we're at the top floor, the treehouse of Rosebrook Gardens. Here is my curated sport coat clothing collection. Now, I built this entire area to be inspired by a boutique store retail because I wanted to see the things that I've curated and collected over the decades, and I wanted to be able to use them. So this was a great way to actually see everything, but most importantly, when I designed this, I wanted the glass to be able to highlight the working buttons on all my sport coats. That's an important part of what I like when it comes to a sport coat. I want the buttons to work, and by having it just underneath, you can actually see all the working buttons. It's lit, but the secret that you would never know is that right behind this is my furnace area. So I had to design these closets not only for them to be functional, to show off and to have all the drawers accessible, but I also needed to make sure that if I needed to access the furnace, how do I do that? How will they access the furnace? I can't have them jump behind. So this and this, these two are on casters. So they pull out, giving you access to the furnace for any servicing. In the event I have to replace the furnace in another 30 years, both of them come out. But for access and maintenance, we pull this out, they go in, do what they need to do, and then it slides right back into space. The best part about this is that when you slide it out, the lighting doesn't turn off. Pretty cool. So the wire is nice and long. And you'll also notice here some great storage area. This was all customized. I did this. Little Insane, jeans, all lined up, shoes. And of course, I wanted to have a folding station as well. So I created a little folding station or a workstation up here. I'm up nice and tall, so I look down at all the other houses from up here. Because this is technically what would have been an attic area, I wanted to really remove every element out of the space and reconstruct it and make it really utilizing every corner I could possibly use.
Thanks for watching. For more Homeworthy content, be sure to like and subscribe.